Right, hey guys, Willie and Murfitt here, and in today's video we're going to be rebuilding the steering rack.
I know you don't love me like you say you do.
In the previous episode I stripped down and cleaned up this rack, and now what we're going to do today is to get it rebuilt, ready to get back on the car. There's a few things that I've learned. We're talking to other mini YouTubers. And yeah, we're going to get into that very shortly, so there's going to be a few thanks and shout outs as well, so stay tuned. So what we're going to do first is to remove the old boots. Taking some cutters, you can cut away the clips. So next up we want to release the outer track rod. So we've got two 19mm spanners to get one on the track rod and one on the adjusting nut. I'm just going to give it a quick clean. Now that's just to make sure that there's no rust on the surface, so that when I put my spanner on, it goes on quite easily. I'm going to put one way and the other one the other. It cracks off. Now when it's on the car, you want to try and make sure you can count the amount of turns these track rods come out to try and put them back on if you're going to take it to a garage to get the tracking sorted. So 4 rotations from point upwards, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now just inspecting this track rod end, the boot itself is pretty cracked, so I'm probably going to get and change that one as well, because the last thing I want to do is have an MOT failure on a rubber boot. So I've got 10 rotations, so what it means now is I can slip the old boot off. And then taking the new boot, which these ones here are the longer version, the 7.5 inch. They just slip over the shaft. As you can see, they're a bit fiddly to get on. So what I'm going to do is just get a screwdriver inside and just be able to go in the inside there. So I can put the screwdriver's flat blades in this side and in this side, and then just work it around to make sure it gets on. Try one for starters. Now you can imagine it's quite difficult here, but think how much harder it's going to be when it's on the car itself. There we go, and we're on. Perfect. So to make sure this bit here is nice and seated, just push down on this last crease, making sure that's nice and even all the way around. And I'll take the fat cable tie they provided and stick that round as well. Put it this way. So a great tip with these, if you get your side cutters or your mole grips, cut them on and then pull it back on itself. Not clamping too hard, but just to make sure you got a nice pressure on it, and you should be able to pull it through a few more clicks. Okay, so that is now the outer boot fitted. So there is also a clip to go on the inner side, which are here. that's that there. Now a bit of copper grease onto the shaft. Make sure that when it's adjusted up next, it will be nice and loose. Now for this demonstration here, I'm going to refit the track rod ends I have because I haven't got any replacements at this stage. So remember 10 turns, starting from up. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so while I'm sat here in the beautiful sunshine editing this video, I realised that I took it off 11 turns and put it on 10. It's not the end of the world because I will be getting the tracking sorted before it goes back on. But if you're not going to get the tracking done on these cars and you take it off and put it back on, it's really important to make sure you make it or take it off the same amount of turns as you put it back on. 11 turns from top to it fell off and at the top again, and then 11 back on. But yeah, score by error there. But let's continue. I'll just tighten that off. So that side there is pretty much complete. I'll flip it over and I'll redo this side as well. Exactly the same process. One thing you can check while you're doing these is the play in the inner arms. So you want to make sure there's no in and out play or up and down play. This is a relatively new rack, so if there's any play in there, I'll be quite annoyed, but there's nothing there. And I checked the other side before stripping it down off camera. Now it's only going to be rough for now because one of the cars on the road, I'm going to get the tracking adjusted and make sure that is aligning your car relatively straight on the road. Okay, so the next bit then, this is the bit that I didn't know about. So a massive thank you and a shout out to Paul Jeffries, Cole from Classic Mini DIY, Keith Miller, Dave Jag, and a few other guys. I do apologise, I have sort of, if I've forgotten you. Now, you have on your floor pan, you've got a hole this side for your steering column to attach to, and there's also a hole this side. Now, I assumed, and wrongly assumed, that this side was just in case it was a right or left hand drive, sorry. So this way you'd have a left hand drive, you'd have your splines here, but this is where I've gone wrong. There is a filler here. So taking a, what is this, a 5mm Allen key bit. I can remove that cap. And get some semi-synthetic gear oil. So this is 75W90, so it's quite thick stuff. And I'm going to pour that into the hole. So, taking my funnel, just pouring very slowly. Now, it probably won't take much, and what it will do is it will bubble. So if you're going to do this on your floor, make sure you've got a mat underneath or some sort of rag underneath to catch the wheel. So what you want to do next is rotate the steering lock to lock. So this is where this pit comes in. I've got my steering column. I can slide on, and I can turn that now. Go from one end of the lock all the way back to the other. Now what this is doing is working in that gear oil so it can go back and forth across the steering rack. And I just want to keep topping it up as and when is required. So what's happening as I'm filling up, there's air bubbles coming out. So the rack itself, I assumed the rack when I purchased this was pre-greased or pre-oiled. Looking at how dry and how much liquid this has taken, I'm kind of thinking it wasn't. So it's a bit of a pain, but we'll just keep topping it up and see how we get on. Now there still seems to be a few bubbles coming out, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to tip the rack to the side, and hopefully that means all the air, all those liquids are going to go to the bottom, and the fluid is going to start bubbling up this way. There's now no air bubbles coming out. It's taken a bit longer than expected, but it looks like the level is good. So I'll screw this back in. Knit that up. Quickly give the rack a dry because I have spilt some fluid on it. But now this is ready to fit to the car. So what we'll do is we'll put it out underneath the car. And one thing we will put on there is the new grommet. So let's get to the car and get the bolts in, ready to mount up this steering rack. Okay, so looking inside the car, please ignore the mess. They've got the steering rack comes through this point mount here. And I've got a bolt here and here, that's the steering rack bolts, and then the same the other side. So I'll just place that one on for now, and I haven't done the top one. What I'll do is I'll tighten them all up, and then the rack is fitted. Next thing to do, we put the steering column mount back up here, which is this one here, and I've got a lowering bracket as well to make the steering wheel a little bit lower, so a bit more comfortable for me. So that, in a nutshell, is how to replace and service / maintain your steering rack. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button, comment down below, and if you can, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future content. That's it from me, so I'll see you next time.